Hello YouTube, my name is Garrett Kerr and I'm doing my very first vlog ever. I actually own a media company called Candy Hour Media. I've done all kinds of promotional event product videos for lots of different companies, and usually I'm on that side of the lens, but today I'm on this side of the lens. And for today's vlog, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be installing and reviewing an accessory that I purchased for my new 2018 F150 STX. Before I jump into the actual install, let me go ahead and open the box and show you what's inside. Okay, so here's the box with the fender flares inside, and before I get into there, I just want to make a quick note as to why I even buy fender flares in the first place. So after buying my truck, I upgraded my tires and wheels, and they stick out about an inch or so from the side of the trucks. And that said, as I'm using my truck, going down snowy roads, rocky, dusty, dirty roads, you can catch stuff in your tread, and that can flick up and actually chip away at your paint. So that's the whole reason for fender flares as far as the utility goes. They also look cool, and that's the other reason that people get them. So looking for options on my specific 2018 STX, I wanted to get something that wasn't too flashy and too crazy. What I settled on was this set, and this set is made by Paramount Automotive. They are marketed as the Raptor style, and I really like that look. I love how they have like the little LED light for the front two fenders too. So I went ahead and went with those. Right now, they're sold for $250 on their website or on Amazon, and I'll put links in the bio for you so you can check those out. Okay, so first thing I have to say is I am pleased with the quality so far. It's definitely robust. It looks uniform. So hardware, looks like we have those amber LED lights that will fit in to the front two fenders. We've got our wiring that we're gonna hook up to those. So here we have the liner, and that's gonna go on the rim of the fender flare. Lastly, we've got all the clips. Okay, so step one of the installation is going to be pretty easy because you're going to be able to do this in front of your TV at home. Kind of like me, I'm going to set this out, watch a little YouTube, and install. What we're doing is we're installing the rubber trim. So this rubber trim is going to be going on the edge of the flare, and what that's doing is essentially just keeping a buffer between your flare and your truck paint so that it's not scratching it. Inside of this trim is this red looking tape. I can actually peel this back, and that exposes this adhesive strip that's right inside here. This piece, I'm going to put it right here, and this is going to be on the inside of the flare. I'm going to start it right here because that's where my point of contact will start for the truck. And I'm going to peel this back about 6 inches at a time. And the adhesive on this is not amazing. It's not like super glue. So once we actually put the fender flares on and bolt them onto the truck, the fender flare will press against the rubber gasket or this rubber trim that we're installing right now, and it won't be a problem. So I'm going to go ahead and install this rubber trim on all the fender flares. I just want to make sure that I'm getting it setting all the way in to the rubber trim right here, so that we don't have any imperfections later, and that's so nothing can get inside as snow, rain, all kinds of debris. We just don't want to allow access for that. So just try to make sure you're kneading it with your fingers and pushing it all the way in, and you should be fine. Okay, now I have finished step one. For step two, we're going to install the LED light into the front fenders, and to do this, I'm going to stick wires through the middle hole. Doesn't matter which way I orient it, when I flip it over, I'm gonna look through the holes and see if the manufactured pre-drilled holes are in the right spot. You may find it easier to get the screws in first and then try to put the LED light just so that you can set it. But I'm gonna go ahead and drill these in and be ready to go. LED lights are nice and secured, so we're ready to go and start working on the truck. So we're back in the garage now. Kind of the next step that I want to tackle. I want to tap into the running lights. It's really not that difficult, I don't think, on these 2018s, although we will find out. This is our moment of truth. This is where I get either really pissed or I'm really happy. And it's not on, so. There's gonna be a bloopers reel for sure. An R-rated blooper reel. Okay, so I kind of thought I was looking at the right thing, and I wasn't. It was a lot simpler. Basically, I was for some reason thinking that I had to find the headlight, like a wiring harness, and tap into that. You don't. You just need to find the actual light itself for whatever light you're wanting to tap into. It'll be two wires. It'll be the power and the ground, and that's what I found here. This is the running lights, or for these front headlights. I'm just going to tap into here. All right, with that, I'm going to turn off the power and let's get to splicing. Now that we're ready to splice in, I want to be clear on what wire end I'm putting in. So we talked about this being kind of a Y, where we have one really long end and these shorter ends. Okay, well, you see how it comes, and the Y actually starts where it's like your left side is going to be the long side, and then the right side is the short. So what I want to do is I want to plug and splice this smaller arm of the wiring into the light. So this is, I'm starting on the right side. You can start on the left side. We talked about that already. I should say driver's side. And I want to splice this in right here on these LEDs. And then that way, I think this will run a little bit better. It's going the same direction. If you can see, it's going the same direction right there. So it'll splice in, I think, a little bit cleaner, and then we can run this up and over the top. So gonna do that right now. I've soldered the wiring harness to the LED light. The wiring harness now needs to connect to the power source of the running light. So here's my running light right here. The brown with the yellow tracer is my power. The black with gray tracer is my ground. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna splice right in. I'm not gonna solder these. I'm just gonna kind of use the old 3M electric tape technique and get these nice and wrapped. Yeah, but they're working, and look at that thing. That looks actually really good. It looks a lot better than I thought. Alright, I've got everything spliced in, LED lights to the running lights. Now I've got to take that extra big wire, it's right here, and I've got to feed it up to the top, kind of by where the radiator is. I don't want to put it anywhere where it's going to be getting hot or anywhere near any belts or anything like that. But I found a nice place, kind of by the wiper fluid, and sticking my hand down, kind of by the battery. There's a nice compartment of space there, and I'm just trying to run it up through there and see if that's a decent spot for it. Okay, so with now my wheel well liner back in place, I'm going to go ahead and get started with installing, because I don't want this hanging here. I'm going to go ahead and get started with installing the passenger side front fender. And to do that, you're going to need to remove first the top three. So there's 1, 2, 3 screws right here, and 4 or 5 along this edge, and by where the mud flaps can be installed, 6, 7. So 7 screws, 5.5 millimeter screws, and we're gonna undo that, and then we're gonna start putting the hardware that will help us attach the fender flare. Okay, next step is fairly simple. We're gonna install these brackets, these mounting brackets, up on the 3 upper lip spaces. And when you do mount them, we're gonna mount them with the long hot dog looking opening, and that's gonna be on the underside of the lip. So that's gonna be hidden up under the wheel well, and the small screw hole is going to be sticking out. You got 1, 2, and 3. And you're gonna use the OEM, the factory screws that we just unscrewed, and they look like this. And those are the 5.5 millimeter socket wrench. The reason why they slide like this is because they're adjustable, so it's adjusting depending on how we need the fender flare to set. On any of this, don't screw it down to full torque. Just screw them kind of finger tight, and then we can move it around from there. Okay, so this will feel good. We're finally gonna go ahead and place the fender flare. They supplied the 8x3/4, 3 of these screws, and they look like this. And they're gonna have a Phillips head on them. And those are gonna go where we put those mounting brackets, and we used our factory screws. We're going to now, with those extended brackets, we're gonna put those 8x3/4 screws on there, and then everything else is factory. I did want to show you where I put the wire that goes from the LED lights. So I looked at a couple different places, and I just decided to run it up and under, because then it didn't impede the pressing of the fender flare onto the truck by running it kind of through this corner. I wrapped it in 3M electric tape, so it's pretty well reinforced. I think it's going to be just fine there. It doesn't. It's definitely not an eyesore, not something that I'm going to notice, or anybody's going to notice. At this point, after having installed the passenger side fender flare, the front fender flare, I've got this wire that I've put up and through here, and I'm actually taking off the pop rivets, or whatever these are called. I'm taking these off so that I can get underneath, and I want the wire to come right out right here, and then I'm gonna filter it down. Okay, so I've popped off all these rivets here. I have one left that I just am using to show you how I do it. There's 2 layers, so you're basically just gonna take a flathead screwdriver. You can pop off the top, nice and slow and easy, and then you can pull out the bottom, and then you just want to work that side to side. Be careful not to be too forceful and crack or break anything, and then it'll pop right out just like that. And then you can lift up the cover and make sure that the wire is fed through, and looks like it looks pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and I've put this all along underneath here, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the pop rivets back on. We are done installing the front flares. Now we have the rear flares to go, and the first step in this is to figure out which one is which. So they're a little bit more similar looking. So one way you can tell, you can either put it against the truck itself, and you'll be able to tell with where the contouring is and stuff like that. Or you can look right here in the middle of the inside lip. You're gonna see right here, I'm seeing RP, so rear passenger is what that will stand for. Alright, so for these steps, what we're gonna do is we're gonna install these X or XL hardware clips. You can mark it, you know, by using a hole, but since I think it's just going to be easier for me to go ahead and just clip these on. What I'm doing right now is I'm trying to line up these clips as best as I can. So I'm actually going to put it on and get it relatively where I want it. Trying to keep everything in place as best I can. Okay. Looks like we got one right here and then another one right over there. So 4 in total. That should kind of give me a relative place to start. Okay, so first step in installing the hardware, I'm going to take this speed clip right here and I'm going to install it where the factory hole is, on the lower lip. You just do this right here. Boom. And that should work. If not, it'll go the other way. Okay, the other clip is this. It's called an S clip. So this guy is gonna go on the front. I need to line it up. So this S clip, I need to line up with the hole that's right here on the bottom, right there. So I've got to put this underneath here and hope that that's gonna sit okay. So I gotta finagle this for a second. So as I'm installing these XL clips, I'm actually finding that because of their design, as you screw them in, they tighten against. They'll tighten against the truck and then tighten into place. So it's actually a really good design, and it means that I won't have to do my own drilling, which will be nice. As you screw these clips in along that rim, you also need to know that you need to line up everything on the exterior. So, you know, all these grooves and crevices, just be kind of looking for it, and you can adjust as you go. So you really don't need a second set of hands to set this thing. That looks really good. It wasn't actually that hard. All the hardware was able to work really well. Yeah, and everything made good contact. So I think we're pretty well set. We're outside. Fender flares are all done. Let's go take a look. Thanks for watching this review and install video of the Paramount Automotive Fender flares. It was a great experience for me. The install really went very smoothly. The installation of the electrical was probably the hardest part, but now that you guys have this video, that should be a breeze for you. Be sure to give this video a like and then comment and subscribe below. I will link these Fender flares in the bio so you can check them out there. Thanks again guys for watching, and be sure to stay tuned for the next installation video.